I wanted to write a song. 13 Notes is a song that kind of incorporates that story about the wren becoming king of the birds, and also the hunting the wren, the legend of hunting the wren on St Stephen's Day, Boxing Day in areas of Great Britain. So the song is about that, but it was weird. I was tinkering on the piano and I was just counting notes, and 13 notes just came up in the chorus. 13 notes between the winter and the spring. In the holly and hedgerow, hear the druid birds sing. So it just happened. Who knows why these things get said to us.
Hello, it's time for another episode of Toward a Better Life. It's episode 125.
Come greet an early morning with frost upon the land. A halo binds the moon with ice crystals in the air, and skeletons of trees like guardians do stand. The harvest is long over, we've passed through Sound's Gate. The misty woods are sleeping, for breeds we kiss they wait, and the wind it cuts like a knife for the bones of Jack Frost kings, and the winter king will soon bow down to the champion of the green, and the lord of the woodland is waiting in the leaves, through the forest and the hedgerows the song of life he weaves, with his feet deep in the soil he watches over the green wood. He's a messenger from nature, his ancient wise God. Hey, oh, it's the green man Jack, running through the woods, singing up the summertime, and you know you'll never look back from where the spirit of the green will take you. Hey, oh, it's the green man Jack, running through the woods, singing up the summertime, and you know you'll never look back from where the spirit of the green will take you. There's poetry in the breezes that tell of things to come, with dancing corn and swaying wheat beneath the summer sun. Lay down among the blossoms sacred to the flower bride, lost in scented fields where meadow sweet runs wild. Lady of the lakes and fields, lady of the wood, I feel your verdant energy rushing through my blood. Your silver skin of bark and moss upon your thighs, with ivy twirls and briar curls you watch with hidden eyes. And can you tell the green man is waiting in the leaves, through the forest and the hedgerows the song of life he weaves, with his feet deep in the soil he watches over the green wood. He's a messenger from nature, his ancient wise God. Hey, oh, it's the green man Jack, running through the woods, singing up the summertime, and you know you'll never look back from where the spirit of the green will take you. Hey, oh, it's the green man Jack, running through the woods, singing up the summertime, and you know you'll never look back from where the spirit of the green will take you. snow and ash and thorn. The summer king has claimed his bride, and all will be reborn. The spirit of the wildwood calls in the language of the trees. Protect the woodlands of the earth is a forest god's decree. For without the essence of the green, our world could never be. Drawing breath around us from the sun into the leaves. From soil and shoot, stem and root, by leaf and bark and limb, we keep alive the wisdom of the Lord and Lady Green. And the wild man of the woodland is watching from the leaves. Through the forest and the hedgerows, the song of life he weaves. With his feet deep in the soil, he watches over the green wood. He's a messenger from nature, this ancient wise God. Jack, running through the woods, singing up to summertime. And you know you'll never look back from where the spirit of the green will take you. Hey, oh, it's the Green Man Jack, running through the woods, singing up to summertime. And you know you'll never look back from where the spirit of the green will take you. Hey, oh, it's the Green Man Jack, running through the woods, singing up to summertime. And you know you'll never look back from where the spirit of the green will take you. Hey, oh, it's the Green Man Jack, running through the woods, singing up to summertime. And you know you'll never look back from where the spirit of the green will take you. Hey, oh, it's the Green Man Jack, running through the woods, singing up to summertime. And you know you'll never look back from where the spirit of the green will take you. Hey, oh, it's the Green Man Jack, running through the woods, singing up to summertime. And you know you'll never look back where the spirit of the green will take you. Where the spirit of the green will take you. Spirit of the green will take you.
That was Spiral Dance with their song Spirit of the Green, used with their permission, and that's just a sample of what you're going to hear on this episode from Spiral Dance. First, Toward a Better Life is the podcast that features like-minded people sharing stories, ideas, and activities just like you and I on what we can do to generate a better life individually and so collectively. In today's world, there truly is a need to seek balance, harmony, compassion, kindness on so many levels, personally, culturally, spiritually, to name a few. But it all begins with each one of us as an individual to make change. And that's what I like to share on this podcast from around the world, seeking others of the same spirit, heart, and mind. And it's a virtual platform, if you will, of self-care, like a school or a venue to begin and continue the journey to wholeness and harmony, individually and again collectively. I also offer the opportunity for you to share your prose, music, poetry, or storytelling on the program. Please subscribe to the show, too, if you haven't done so already through your favorite podcast platform, and keep following for weekly magical insights into earth-based spirituality, self-development, and self-care. Also, remember to support the program by leaving your review on Apple and Spotify podcasts. It only takes a minute to leave a review, and it really does help promote the program that much more. And be sure to visit my website, towardabetterlife.com. You can also contact me to learn more about a free discovery call to begin your journey toward your own better life. Send all your inquiries to me, Kevin, at towardabetterlife.com. So, let's get on with it, shall we? Many of you have heard Spiral Dance and songs like theirs featured on past episodes of the show. A visit to their website will share that Spiral Dance is as powerful as any equinox and as magical as any inspired ritual. Spiral Dance offers up rich vocals, delicate melodies, and rousing jams, all invoking the pagan world at the dawning of its rebirth. Spiral Dance plays high-energy pagan rock, folk rock, and that combines with eclectic blend of powerful self-penned songs and tunes. Spiral Dance are the song catchers of magic, myth, and legend. The band was formed in 1992 as a project to explore some of the more mystical elements in life, and has drawn its energy from the songwriting and vocal skills of Adrienne Piggott. Adrienne's haunting lyrics and Paul's innovative accordion tunes are carefully arranged to blend acoustic folk rock with lush Celtic harmony, creating an almost tangible musical aura, no doubt about it, and it envelops the whole audience. It envelops me every time I listen. Well, today we're going to take a step further with a chat with Adrienne Piggott from Spiral Dance. She's sharing how Spiral Dance got its start, like I just mentioned, her own journey in Druidry and paganism, and we're sharing selections from their newest double album, 13 Notes. It's downloadable from their website, where you can also order a hands-on copy of their CD. Adrienne has so much to share about her creative life and her connection with her part of the natural world. So much more can be said, but I'm going to let our chat tell you all about it. All the songs in this episode are used by the permission of Adrienne, Piggott, and Spiral Dance. There, we got that part out of the way. So settle back and enjoy this journey toward a better life with Adrienne and Spiral Dance. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Toward a Better Life. I'm pretty happy about this one. Well, I'm happy about all of them. What can I say, Adrienne? We just simply enjoy ourselves. We just have fun. But you've heard me feature some of the music from Spiral Dance over the past month or so, couple of months, and they're such a joy to listen to. The music is great, and I actually have the opportunity today to talk with Adrienne from Spiral Dance, and we're going to talk about her new album. But outside of that, hi, Adrienne. How's life down under?
Hello, Kevin. Thanks for having me on here. Life down under. Well, life down under here is beautiful where I am. I live in the Adelaide Hills on Pyramac Land in South Australia. We're in our autumn now, but sadly we've been in drought for a number of months, so everything's quite dry and a lot of the birds are coming in. They're very hungry and thirsty. So the land's very dry and parched at the moment, so we're waiting for the first of our autumn rains to come in, and hopefully they're not far away.
Yeah. And I have to say again, I certainly do enjoy your music, and let's kind of start with that. How did you folks get started in the pagan folk music that you do? Because I know you've been around for a while, and I've heard you on Druidcast, and Dave the Bard's talked about you. But what's a little bit of background about Spiral Dance?
So Spiral Dance started in 1992. We were probably one of the first pagan rock bands around, I think, in those days, but it was before the internet and stuff. So my early journey into paganism was I went to the UK to live there because I'm first generation Australian and my father's Irish and my mother's English. And I went to the UK to look at customs and calendar customs and village traditions, basically, because I had a love of those. I'd been singing in folk bands and pub sessions for many years when I was in my late teens, early 20s. And I went to the UK and I was at and I wasn't really songwriting in those days either. That kind of came, it all sort of fell into place when Spiral Dance started. But I was at a folk festival, Towersey Folk Festival, during the English summer. Probably that would have been 1990. And I was in one of the marquees and I heard a guy called Roy Bailey singing. He was performing. And he did a song called Burning Times, and which was written by Charlie Murphy. And it's basically a song that the chorus is a chant of all the goddesses' names, but it was about the burning times and the women and men that had been burnt during the Inquisition for witchcraft. Now, I know that song is not historically correct, but at the time it was like a boom moment for me. And I sat there and thought, you can actually sing about your spirituality without it being a religious, for one of a better word. You can sing about what's in your heart. So I got thinking, and I came back to Australia, and I was with some of my musician friends, and I said, look, let's start a band based on magic, myth and legend. And that's where Spiral started. So that was 1992. And I guess I was looking for songs that had that kind of magical edge to them. I've always loved Jethro Tull. I've been into Jethro Tull since my very early teens. So we were doing a few Jethro Tull songs and a little bit of Lorena McKennitt and various things. And then the songwriting started. And my very first song I wrote was Woman of the Earth. I wrote that in 1994. I was down in a place down in South Australia called Port Elliot, which is on Nurrungerry land, and I was standing on the cliff edge there before the beach, and this song came into my head: I am a woman of the earth, I stand between the sea and the sand. And that was our very first original song that we did, and from there it just grew. And so it was many, many moons ago, Kevin, And we've had lots of lineup changes over the years. You know, things have come and gone, people have come and gone, but we're still standing strong and playing our music to the community, the worldwide community, which we're very blessed to be able to do.
When you think about it, that's a phenomenal record, and that's incredible, Adrienne. I mean, you folks have been together, what, 33 years?
Yeah, I was 10. I was 10 when I started.
Yeah. Okay. You don't look a day over that.
Thank you.
And that's the beauty when you find something that really works like that, and you just stick with it. And you know, to me as well, what I really enjoy so much about your music, as well as anyone else that is, I'm going to say, bardic in their nature, is you have a story to tell. It's not just what we referred to many years ago as headbanging music. You know, I mean, it has something with some real meaning to it. It has something with a real story to it, and it makes you want to sit back and just listen. I remember, you know, some of the numbers that you've already done, and how each one of them has their own message, and
Yeah.
it's not only the message of that, but it's a message of the spirit of the world, and the spirit of beauty, and the spirit of natural spirituality.
And I also think too, because I'm folk singer background, that's my background. I think folk music is the music of the people, and I think so many of the folk songs, they are about storytelling and, you know, life on the land and what happens where in the place you live, and so I guess that's been a big influence on me as well, that folk background for sure. Yeah.
So the title of your double album set is
The new one, so this one is called 13 Notes.
13 Notes. And where'd that title come from?
So it's funny, isn't it? Some songs you struggle with, and some songs fall onto the page, and I have such a love of calendar customs and traditions from my ancestral lands, England and Ireland, and one of the customs I love, it was Christmas before last, and I was thinking about the custom of hunting the wren, the tradition of hunting the wren, which happens, you know, in Ireland and Wales and parts of Great Britain and England, and I don't know, I just wanted to write a song about the wren, but I also love the traditional story of how the king of the birds, you know, the story of the king of the birds, how the wren became king of the birds. And you know that story, don't you?
I want you to tell it.
Okay, I'll try and tell it as quickly as I can. So all the birds got together, you see, and they said, we have to have a competition and see who can fly the highest to say who will be king of the birds. So they said, okay, let's give it a go. So the pigeon flew, and the pigeon flew a few feet up and got tired. And then after that, the seagull flew up and went a little bit higher. And then the blackbird flew a bit higher. And they were flying, and they were all trying to get higher above each other. And in the end, the eagle flew the highest. And when the eagle reached its peak and said, I am king of the birds, the little wren flew out from under the eagle's wing and went, no, I got a bit higher, I'm king of the birds. So the wren became king of the birds. And the wren is also the druid bird. So I wanted to write a song. 13 Notes is a song that kind of incorporates that story about the wren becoming king of the birds, and also the hunting the wren, the legend of hunting the wren on St. Stephen's Day, Boxing Day in areas of Great Britain. So the song is about that, but it was weird. I was tinkering on the piano, and I was just counting notes, and 13 notes just came up in the chorus. 13 notes between the winter and the spring. In the holly and hedgerow, hear the druid birds sing. So it just happened. Who knows why these things get sent to us? But that was a little gift from the gods as well, I think. So yeah.
Yeah.
Blow in, and there's flurries of snow. Into the woods the wren boys and down. 13 notes between the winter and the spring. In the holly and hedgerows, hear the druid birds sing. At the coming of Yuletide, the hunt will begin. For the wren, king of the birds, king of the birds. Flushed from the bramble and chased from the gorse, with sticks and with stones, taken by force. The quest for the wren, as he draws his last breath in a fire of ribbons paraded in death. 13 notes between the winter and the spring. Being a trickster, his cunning he did bring. Hidden beneath the great eagle's wing, the wren, king of the birds, king of the birds. Your time is slipping by, for seasons in your song. I'll listen, tiny bard, as you sing all winter long. The pattern that you wove high above the ground, why try to win with strength when there's wisdom to be found?
That was so cool. That was great. And
Thank
yeah, that's just a sampling of what we're talking about, everybody, with what Adrienne and her fine group put together. And the thing that I see too with your group, Adrienne, is there's a synergy there, and everything works from what I can tell. And
Yeah,
in part of my past, I've done some recording, and I've been to the Music City Recorders in Nashville, and this kind of dates me as well as when we used to have these boards that were like 32 channels and forever wide. And you
yeah,
go in there and you see about all these different people, and everyone will come in, and this person will record on track 4. This person will come in and they'll do another section, and they'll do another section, and then you put it all together on a 16 track piece, and it's
yeah,
it's great, but it it the synergy is what makes it. If you just throw some music together, you can do about anything you want to on a mixing board, and you know that. But when I hear you guys doing your music, it just works. So, yeah, it's beautiful. How many albums do
thank
you
you.
have now?
Um,
Didn't
Gosh,
know
off the
that was a
top,
question was going to come.
I think I think it's 9 studio albums and 1 live album. So our first album was in 1996. That was Woman of the Earth. So, and then I think 8 or 9 studio albums, and then a live one, and then a bit of a best of we did for a one-off, just for a bit of a one-off project. So, yeah, and this one being a double album, of course, during COVID lockdown. We weren't sort of spending a lot of time together or playing, of course. So a lot of those songs came together during that COVID lockdown. Yeah.
So, did I hear it correctly that really you kind of began your journey toward paganism more from a music, when the music kind of drew you in, or was there another piece to that I
Yeah,
missed?
well, it's interesting, isn't it? It's a combination of the music and also my love of calendar customs and village traditions from the land of my ancestors. And I struggled for many, many years living in this land of how I could sink my feet into this land here. I lived in the UK for a number of years, and I went to live in the UK for that very reason, was to start that journey. So I kind of don't know where my pagan journey started with my love of customs and traditions, and my musical side of things. I think they weave together. It's all woven together. They've never been separated. And going to the UK opened my mind to a lot of things, but it wasn't really until I started my Druid journey, probably about 12 years ago, that I was able to actually feel I belonged in this land.
Hmm.
And that was one of the songs I wrote was "Goddess of the Southern Land," which is on the studio album for this one, Land and Legend. And that song is basically about trying to find my gods and goddesses in this land. It's a constant. I don't know about yourself, but being first generation Australian in this land, I grew up with my Irish and English parents talking about, stories from their lands, and I had to go there and live with relatives, and that's the beauty of when I was in the UK, spending my time on weekends and going to various villages for customs and traditions. And within having those customs and traditions, you can see how they connect you to a place.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? So if you, like, for instance, like I lived in Hastings, and for many, many years in Hastings, they've had since 1985, they celebrate the Jack and the Green, and it's grown and grown. And so people have this connection to Hastings. It's like if wherever you live in the UK, if your village has a custom or tradition, it connects you to that place, like whether it's cheese rolling or hare pie tossing or all these amazing customs and traditions I had there. So, and that I really got that. But I came back to Australia and I didn't have that. There was nothing to tie me here. Do you know what I mean? It was,
Yeah.
and I felt this, it was like a sense of sadness of not being able to connect to this land here. So it wasn't really, and I'm involved in an event called the English Hour, which we run every year, and that's a celebration in our South Australian autumn, which we get together and we do a lot of the customs and traditions that happen in the spring in England. So it's like that parallel. And people love going to that because it kind of gives them a sense of belonging to this town in Mylor. We've been doing it for a very, very long time. But as for finding my gods and goddesses here, that has been a bit of a journey, and Druidry helped me embrace that and find that. That was my Druidic journey. I'm still on it. And I now feel like the land has claimed me here, and I can really call Australia home. But for many years, many early years, I struggled with that. I felt I never belonged here. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, and what you just said just kind of caught my ear, because I seem to recall someplace. I think maybe when you were talking in the past with Dave the Bard, you're a member of OBOD as well, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Yes, I'm on my own journey at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm about 2/3, 3/4 of the way through my bardic journey, so we'll see how that rolls.
Beautiful. It's so beautiful. Well, we're always bards. You never lose it. It's always there.
That's it. It's not like you graduate from something and that is left behind, because a true Druidry, as you mentioned, it's all part. It's all connected with each other.
The whole concept of when I joined OBOD was, this whole bardic journey was something that I was doing, but it had a spiritual connection. The songwriter, everything was connected, and do you know what I mean? Like it just, and it was like another boom moment for me. So, yeah, very blessed.
Yeah. So when you were talking earlier about trying to connect with the spirits of the land and the gods of the land and so forth in Australia, I see that one of the songs that you've got is Marrundi song. Is that connected to that?
Marrundi, yeah. So the Marrundi River is the Murray River. The Marrundi is the Nurrungeri name for the Murray River in this part. The Murray River is the longest river in Australia, the longest I can't say that word, navigable river in Australia. And it's the lifeblood of so many communities. But since white colonisation, we've basically messed with it because the Indigenous people knew how to care and look after the river. So the river's struggling. It has been struggling for a very, very long time. So, and again, we're in drought, but a number of years ago we went through a very, very severe drought, and the poor old Murray was suffering again. There was fish deaths. So I wanted to write a song about holding that close, hence the chorus, hold the river. And it was very, very strange, actually. It was 2 years ago, because we'd been in drought for such a long time. The flows from the Murray had really suffered. But then we had a thing called a blue sky flood. And what happened was there was lots and lots of water from a flood that happened up in the north of the country, and that all came down and caused all these floods, but there was no rain down here. So it was a very, very strange time. So hence there's that last line in the song, it took a blue sky flood to make the waters flow. So, but the Murray, it's a beautiful river, and it refers to, there's lots of red gums that line it. It's the riverine forests line the Murray River. So, but the Murray River is the white colonisation name. It's the Marrundi is the Indigenous name here.
So it's an ode to that river is what the song is all about.
And there's a beautiful creation story that goes with it, how the Murray or the Marrundi was formed, and I tell this respectfully because I'm first generation Australian and I'm very respectful to our Indigenous people. But the Indigenous creation story is there was a giant cod. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he swam from a waterhole. And from the waterhole, his tail thrashed and thrashed and thrashed and thrashed and created this huge waterway. And he worked his way all across Australia, thrashing his tail, creating the Murray River.
That's beautiful. Let's listen to that one. You want to listen to that one?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
All right.
Hold the river.
Oh,
away across the land. From rising Alps to golden sand, moving to the rainbow song. He'll fill her belly and make her strong. Hold the river, hold the river, for the river is life. Hold the river, hold the river, for the river is life. From the water hole big codfish swam, carved the banks and the waters ran. From snowmelt east to high cliff south, the lifeblood flows from her sandy mouth. Hold the river, hold the river, for the river is life. Hold the river, hold the river, for the river is life. Riverine forest, red gums grow. Cast your seed into the flow. Deep rooted down by the waterside, you give your soul to the river's tide. Hold the river, hold the river, for the river is life. Hold the river, hold the river, for the river is life. River sweet, she'll feed you, quench your thirst and keep you, take you on a journey to where the southern ocean lies. Through the drought we've watched her dying, and now this river's crying. It took a blue sky flare to make the waters rise. Hold the river, hold the river, for the river is life. Hold the river, hold the river, for the river is life.
We're just having all kinds of fun and just kind of going down the list and give everybody a taste, but we're not going to play every song, everybody. We're just going to kind of pick and choose with Adrienne and 13 notes. So what's it like to do recording nowadays? I'm curious. Is it like, because it's not, I just said a little bit ago, the control boards are not the same as they used to be by any means.
Funny enough, this album was a little bit different. In the past, we've just basically, the band has gone into a studio and we've laid all the bed tracks down. Then we go back and we layer on top of that. But this album was a little bit different because we had a lot of friends from interstate to come and play on this. And this album was produced by a marvelous guy called David Pendragon, who lives in Canberra in the Australian Capital Territory. And I've known David for many, many years, and he's an incredible producer. And we touched base probably back in 1997. We first met, and we've been touching base over the years. And he always said to me, "I'd love to do an album with you. I'd love to do an album with you." Anyway, many, many moons later, of course, rewind to 2023, and he heard some of the songs that I was doing on this album, and he said, "Would you be interested in letting me be involved?" And so we did. So myself and Paul were going between Adelaide and Canberra quite regularly to record our lines, and then a lot of the Spiral Dance musicians here went into a studio here, and we sent them the files over to Canberra so David could manipulate them over there. And also there's a few of his friends played on the album as well. So we've got a couple of different fiddle players on there, and Stuart King was one of the guitarists that played on the magnificent guitarist, musician from Canberra. He played on there. So it was kind of a little bit of a collaboration with lots of musicians, this one, and David had the call of producing, and he did a mighty fine job, in my opinion. So I'm hoping he can do our next album for us, which will be lovely. It's a bit of a trip to go to Canberra. It's about a 9-hour drive or something, but maybe a bit longer, but we will flying over there. So yeah.
It just occurred to me that when we look at people that are talented and people that are telling the stories and people that are sharing history, as you're doing in these albums and in the music that you produce, I know that there are a lot of people out there that may be a little bit apprehensive. They've got some talent, but they don't know where to start. Do you have any suggestions for anyone like that says, "Oh man, I just got this really cool guitar and I just redid it and I can kind of play it, but I'm not sure if I'm doing very good at it." So where do they start?
Yeah, I do actually. Well, again, I've been really lucky being in the folk communities. So there's within the folk community, there's lots of fabulous supportive things you can go to. There's, in South Australia here, I know that there's lots of what they call pubs music sessions. So you can go along with your instrument and you can just sit in the background and they'll play tunes or they'll sing songs. Invite people to play if they can join in. Once you get brave, that's where I started singing. I remember going to my very, very first music session, and there was a big circle of people playing and singing, and I was desperate to sing a song, an a cappella song, and I let it go around the circle a few times. I thought every time, "No, I'm not ready. No, I'm not ready." And then I finally did it, and afterwards I couldn't get enough of it. So I would say, find wherever you live, find where your local folk musicians play. Even if you're not into folk music, find where your local musicians or folk musicians gather, whether they be at pubs or clubs, or and go along and take your instrument along. You'll always find someone very supportive. For example, myself and my friend Bronwyn, who sings with me in Spiral Dance, she was on the very first album as well. She's back singing with us again. We run a shanty session, which is a monthly singing session at a local whiskey bar, and there's about 30 people gather at that, and they come along and we sing shanties, and people join in the choruses. When people get to know it a bit better, then they'll say, "Oh, I've learned a shanty, can I lead it?" And we get them to lead the song and teach the chorus. So it gets people singing and involved, and it's a great opportunity for people that are never get to do that sort of stuff. So that can happen whether you play an instrument or whether you sing. So that's what I'd say to people: find where people are gathering, and whether your local town does it, there'll be somewhere. And having social media now, there's things all over social media for that type of stuff. Yeah.
Shanties, aren't those the thing that we remember from Ireland and Wales?
Well, they're all the sea shanties from all over England,
Sure.
Yeah. So and it's all like a cappella. There's no instruments. It's all sung a cappella, and it's lovely because people join in the choruses with beautiful harmonies, and you see people find their voices for their first time, and it's such a gorgeous thing to witness, seeing people go, "Oh, I've suddenly found my voice, I'm singing." And the same thing happens when people come along to folk sessions and they've been joining in very quietly in the background with their tin whistle or their recorder or their guitar or their boron or whatever, and suddenly they're joining a group of people making music happen. And it's such a great energetic thing. I love it. So yeah.
I sing, and I have not outside of that.
Oh, you
those
should.
Those were college days, and I still will sing to the top of my lungs when I'm in my car.
Oh, well, you need to be out singing with lots of people and making
Yeah.
energy happen.
Yeah. Go to rehearsals. I remember that. We used to do all those fun things like me, may, ma, mo, moo, and la, la, lo, lo, loo.
Yeah, right.
Only those that have sang and understand that. So we just lost everybody else. Sorry. So what you're asking me to do is you're asking me to turn into a wild man again and start singing. Is that what you're doing?
Absolutely. The world needs more wild men and women.
Well, I could tell that to Vicky, my partner, but I don't know if she would share it. But oh, wild things. And one of the songs that you've got on that, I think, is called "To the Wild." Is that right?
That's correct, yes.
What was the inspiration for that?
Okay, so about 6 years ago, I was at a NOBOD camp and I did my ovate initiation. Without going into too much detail, which I won't, but while I was in a meditation, this song came to me basically, and it was the chorus. I run with hoof, I run with horn, I shed my skin, I am reborn. Wow. And let's face it, the whole ovate thing is about that transformation. So, so that's how that song came about, and it's followed by a tune that when I wrote the song, I said to Paul, our accordion player, I said, we need a tune. And he came up, it was really funny. I hadn't even shown him the words of the song at that stage. And he came up with this beautiful tune. He said, I'm going to call it Dancing Hare, which I thought was really interesting. And so we had that kind of this connection that went zap, and it was just beautiful. So yeah, To the Wild, followed by a tune called Dancing Hare.
Show no fear, with velvet tines and head held high. Smell the breeze, taste the sky, with thunder hooves beneath the moon. I know the hunt is coming. On silent wing, the flight of owl. On star-filled night, the wild dog howl. Of feather beak, black eye and claw, of scale and talon, bone and fur. I live and dream within the wild, and with the wild I'll journey. I run with hoof, I run with horn, I shed my skin, I am reborn. It's to the wild that I am sworn, to the wild I am returning. I run with hoof, I run with horn, I shed my skin, I am reborn. It's to the wild that I am sworn, to the wild I am returning. Sunlight spray, the day's new. Upon my skin the morning dew. Damp leaves cling to skin so fair. Twigs and bark, not chestnut hair. I hear the song of stag and hind, and know my heart is singing. I run with hoof, I run with horn, I shed my skin, I am reborn. It's to the wild that I am sworn, to the wild I am returning. I run with hoof, I run with horn, I shed my skin, I am reborn. It's to the wild that I am sworn, to the wild I am returning. Crystal kiss on spider wave, silver caress on darkening leaves, chill night's breath on rock and stone, dancing mist the way shown within body, within soul. The forest now is calling, and when dawn wakes me from my dream, I'll taste the clear of mountain stream. Soil and leaves fall from my face, of human form there is no trace. What binds me has been left behind. I see the trackway I must follow. I run with hoof, I run with horn, I shed my skin, I am reborn. It's to the wild that I am sworn, to the wild I am returning. I run with hoof, I run with horn, I shed my skin, I am reborn. It's to the wild that I am sworn, to the wild I am returning. I run with hoof, I run with horn, I shed my skin, I am reborn. It's to the wild that I am sworn, to the wild I am returning. I run with hoof, I run with horn, I shed my skin, I am reborn. It's to the wild that I am sworn, to the wild I am returning. I run with hoof, I run with horn, I shed my skin, I am reborn. It's to the wild that I am sworn, to the wild I am returning.
And that was To the Wild, and it was wonderful. Thanks so much for sharing that. It's special when you have an opportunity and the inspiration comes from the heart, and that kind of goes back to that piece, doesn't it? About it's not just something like, oh, this rhymes with this or this makes sense. And no, there's a reason behind it. And that's what gives it its fire. That's what gives it its heart and its spirit and its soul. And that's very, very special. So yeah, that's great. Is this am I mistaken on this, or is it correct that this is your first double album?
No, this is our second double album. Our last
Okay.
double album is called Through a Sylvan Doorway.
Mm-hmm.
And that was from. I'm terrible with calendar dates. I know we recorded it. We recorded it in the summer, so that would be 3 albums ago. So I guess around maybe 2014, I think. But yeah, there's beautiful pieces on that one as well. Through a Sylvan Doorway, yeah.
So what's on the future for this? Are you guys coming back to the States? Or I say the States here, but I know that you've gone to back to the UK a couple of times. But have you been in the States?
Yeah, our first trip to the States was I think 2002, I believe, was our very first trip. could be wrong on that date. About 2002 was our first trip. We've been there. Yes, I think we've done about 4 trips to the state. The first time we went to Texas, we played at the CMA, Council of Magical Arts, and then did a tour down to Florida and played a few places there. The last few trips we played, it's been Florida. We've had some lovely connections with some people in Florida through the Florida Pagan Gathering, and we've actually then flew up and did Salem, played up in Salem, which was lovely. The last trip was the UK in 2019. We've done a number of trips to the UK and toured with Dave the Bard, which has been really, really fabulous. So as for touring again, next year we're planning on a UK trip, just a small cut down of the band. It's just so difficult touring now. As for going to the United States at the moment, probably not.
Yeah. I totally understand it without going there.
Yeah, and we've got so many beautiful friends in the States that we stay in touch with, and people we miss very, very much. But never say never. You know, things will probably change, and yeah, we'll get back there, but not in the near future. I think, Kevin. Yeah.
And what else, as far as tours and everything? What else is on tap?
I guess it's been a long time since COVID. I mean, we haven't really done much since COVID. So we're just now finding our feet again and it was important to get this album out. That was the main focus of last year. So I guess we'll be looking touring locally and interstate in Australia at the moment, and next year hopefully back to Great Britain.
Mm-hmm. You know, in my program, I always ask people, what do they do to create a better life for themselves? I think I know the answer, and I've said that almost like a mantra a couple of times after talking with somebody for a while. But Adrienne, what do you do to create a better life for yourself?
So for me, Kevin, I think it's all come about with this realization of being in this land, but it hit me very much during COVID. And I'm very blessed where I live. I live on the thing called the Hyson Trail, which is all bushland. I'm surrounded by all bushland in the Adelaide Hills. So during COVID, I got to know my little square patch, for want of a better word. And now I realise how important that is. We can't save the whole world. I wish I could save the whole world. I can't. But what I can do is I can look after my little place here in the Adelaide Hills, and I do that on the land I'm in now. You can probably see behind me my beautiful, you know, the sun is shining, all my native trees are glistening out there, and all the birds are coming in. We have been in a drought, so we've had the kangaroos are coming up looking for drinking water, and I can look after what is around me, and I need to do that. I need to know that things in my little patch are safe and being looked after while I'm a custodian on this place for the time I'm on this planet. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. It hums with the thoughts of what we are as doing druidry and what we are as far as paganism, that we honor the natural lands, we honor everything that's beautiful and natural around us. And we don't take a second thought. We were just Vicki and I were just finishing up dinner here a little while ago. You're about ready to do breakfast there, maybe a little after. But it was delightful to see. We have a Hoya plant out hanging off the front porch, and there is a wren making a nest in the Hoya plant. Beautiful. And he's just really, really busy. And Vicki said she went out on the porch and looked and saw dirt everywhere on the floor from where he's flicking everything out so he can make room for the nest. But it's little things, looking for the little things like that to create the best treasures in life. They really are.
And we are the custodians of while we are alive. We're the custodians on the place where we are living, on the land we're living, and it's up to us to care for that and look after that. And it's that thing is that when you start to feel you belong to a place, it means more to you. Like, you know, where I live, we live on the what's called the Mount Lofty Ranges, but the Indigenous story here is the Mount Lofty Ranges were formed by a giant, Nagano, and he was slain by his people. He was slain and he fell over and created the Mount Lofty Ranges. And there's various towns throughout the Mount Lofty Ranges, like there's a place called Uradla. Now, the Indigenous name is Uradla, and that means his ear. There's a place called Piccadilly in the Piccadilly Valley, not far from here. Piccadilly is his eyebrow. Tanunda is his neck, and these are all the places that are on this map, if you like, this giant's map with this giant, and you can see the creation story and the song lines that go through. You can kind of start to understand how that works. For me, the Mount Lofty Ranges are a really super special place now because I'm living on the giant's back. I live on the giant. I live near the giant's ears, and that's, for me, I think when we start to connect to place where we live. When we connect to a place, whether it's through a story or something we connect with there, it becomes a really important place, and we care for it. Yeah. And that's how I feel about living in my little patch here in the Adelaide Hills.
Yeah. I remember something from one of, keep plugging about it, but we plug each other, right? With Dave the Bard had the thing on the Druid Cast some years ago now, but it was a gentleman from Ireland, and he was a Druid from Ireland, and he was talking about the importance of connecting with the land and connecting with the spirits of that land. Now, granted, I look back at my heritage. It's certainly not where I've ever lived, but my heritage is there. My heritage is Wales, Scotland, and Ireland, and it's all right there. And I would think about Caradwyn, and I think about Arthur, and I think about Merlin and all that sort of thing. But at the same token, I'm apart from that, but I'm a part of it. But at the same token, what are the spirits of the land where I live?
Yes.
And what can I do to honor the spirits of the land where we live? We have a little community outside of here that was struck pretty hard by, the whole area, of course, was struck hard by the hurricane. But one of the things that was really interesting, we have gone to a place called Hot Springs, and Hot Springs has a resort. And if you go there and you look, and it's a natural hot springs. They're not just a bunch of hot tubs. They are natural salted springs that comes right up out of the ground. It's nice and warm. It's beautiful.
Wow.
But the interesting thing is to look at the history of that. And the history says that for probably a couple of millennia, the indigenous people frequented those hot springs. And it wasn't just to go in and heal themselves. They looked at it as a sacred space. And how many sacred spaces are there around the world to care for? So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Any thoughts that you want to share with our listeners before we head out here? And we could go on. I know we could.
I know. There's just you could talk about this stuff forever. Find Spiral Dance. Find us on social media. Come and say hello. Over the years, we've been very, very lucky. We've been a bit of a vortex for the pagan community here in South Australia and Australia, and it's just lovely. It's the music is more than just a band playing music. We write our songs to give to the community here and the worldwide pagan community, and there's songs for everyone to share. So sing them, take them away and sing them in your own gatherings. Just enjoy the music, share the music, and this music belongs to everybody.
And they can people can go on to your website on Spiral Dance and download the music, as I recall, correct?
That's correct. So it's www.spiraldance.com.au. You can find us there or on Facebook. But we're on all the social media platforms and Spotify and Apple. All those. Yeah. I'm not very techo with that sort of stuff. I leave that to Paulie and the band to look after.
You're doing fine.
Thank you.
This has been delightful. Adrienne, thanks so much for sharing about Spiral Dance. And everyone, go out and find a copy and download it from the internet, whatever you like to do. But trust me, I've listened to it. It's a great piece of music, and I listen to it in the car, and it's just wonderful. And it has a great story and great thoughts behind it. So, Adrienne, again, thanks so much for being with us here on Toward a Better Life and us being able to share your music.
Oh, Kevin, thank you very much. It's been lovely. Thank you.
On a height of land next to a wood, from spring through to harvest, a man of straw stood. sways with the breeze and looks over the weed as the shadows of summer fall at his feet, and the wind shakes the barley and rattles the rye, and Scarecrow looks on as the year passes by. Burnished thistles float through the air. You'll challenge the crow with your cold, lifeless stare, and no one thinks of you through the long sun-kissed days, nodding away in the summertime haze, and the wind shakes the barley and rattles the rye, and Scarecrow looks on as the year passes by. Scarecrow, old Scarecrow, you look so forlorn, there alone in your field of ripe corn, and when all lies silent and there's no crows to scare, who lays the stalks into patterns so rare? And when the wind becomes restless and the harvest is done, you can dance like a dervish beneath the bright sun. From beyond the dark woodlands, the wild hunt returns. The hide lies in silence, for the crows have all flown. Wild seed and thistle to the four winds are blown. Your coat is in tatters, your straw in decay. Your season is over, you've seen the last day. Heavy the plough that furrows the earth, soil rich and dark filled with seeds of rebirth. Across the sky dances a pattern of rain. The sun in his zenith will ripen the grain, and in the spring when all is reborn, a new man of straw watches over the corn. Scarecrow, old Scarecrow, you look so forlorn, there alone in your field of ripe corn. And when all lies silent and there's no crows to scare, who lays the stalks into patterns so rare? And when the wind becomes restless and the harvest is done, you can dance like a dervish beneath the bright sun.
Well, we started the show honoring all the green and wonder of spring and soon-to-be summer solstice here in the Northern Hemisphere with Spirit of the Green. Adrienne felt it brings both parts of our worlds together with an honorable nod to the Southern Hemisphere as they move from Samhain toward their winter solstice with the song Man of Straw, and that's what you just heard. Thanks so much to Adrienne and Spiral Dance for sharing on this special edition of Toward a Better Life, and a very special thanks to you, the listeners, for sharing the experience. There's a link in the show notes for Spiral Dance. Be sure to check it out. And believe me, once you start listening to their music, you just can't put it down. It's really good. If you're seeking insights and advice on how to create a better life for yourself, and if you'd like to dive into self-care, self-development, or distant shamanic work, Reiki, drop me a line, kevin@towardabetterlife.com, for your free discovery call. You can also visit my website, towardabetterlife.com, for past episodes, blog entries, ways to enhance your spiritual journey, and a few products to assist you on that journey. Send all your inquiries to me, and there's a link in the show notes. Please subscribe to follow Toward a Better Life through your favorite podcast platform. And as always, please leave a review on Apple and Spotify podcast. It helps to spread the word about the podcast and helps create our own better life. If you've got questions or if you'd like to share your story, music or prose, just send it to me. And that's to kevin@towardabetterlife.com. Or if you'd like to be my guest, same address, kevin@towardabetterlife.com. Until next week, enjoy your musical, magical journey toward a better life.